Minnie always believed she was destined for more than sunbeams and window watching, even if her humans, Tauline and Nick, thought otherwise. Because on that quiet evening after the television flickered off and the room settled into a soft hum, something inside her shifted, and the dream took hold stronger than ever. She wasn't just Minnie anymore. She was Commander Minnie, the first calico astronaut in training. And in her mind, the living room transformed into a launch bay. The couch became a command module, and the scratching post behind her was now a towering rocket waiting to pierce the sky. She could almost feel the weight of the helmet tucked under her arm and the snug fit of her blue jumpsuit with its shining badge. Her face proud beside a streaking rocket crossing a golden star. And in this imagined world, every step she took had purpose. Every leap was training. Every flick of her tail part of a mission that would take her far beyond the glass of the back window and into the deep unknown, where the stars whispered secrets only the brave could hear. She trained relentlessly in her dream, racing across the hardwood floors like they were endless corridors of a space station, leaping onto shelves as if navigating zero gravity, her body light and precise. Though she knew the truth, space was not forgiving. Muscles weakened, balance vanished, and even a proud feline like her would need strength and discipline. So she imagined lifting invisible weights, pushing herself harder than ever before, determined to be ready for the call. Then came the hardest part, the water training, the dreaded simulation that all astronauts must endure. And though every instinct in her screamed against it, she forced herself to imagine floating, her paws drifting helplessly, her whiskers twitching as imaginary water crept too close to her nose, the sensation unbearable. Yet she pressed on, because heroes didn't quit, even when the helmet itched and there was no way to scratch. Even when fear crept in like a shadow across the stars. And in those moments, she reminded herself that astronauts were not just explorers, but thinkers, scientists, problem solvers. She pictured herself studying the cosmos, watching constellations shift, understanding the dance of planets, conducting experiments where kibble floated freely and had to be chased through the air like mischievous prey. And she laughed to herself at the thought, a silent, determined laugh. Because even in space, a cat must eat. But space was not just wonder, it was danger too, vast and endless, filled with silence that could swallow you whole. And as Minnie imagined herself drifting above Earth, the blue glow far below, she felt a flicker of something new. Not fear exactly, but respect for the unknown. A realization that adventure always carried risk, and yet that only made her dream stronger. She would not just visit space, she would build something there. A small village on the moon, where cats could roam freely among the stars, where windows would stretch forever into the galaxy, and every night would be filled with stories of distant worlds. She could see it so clearly that it felt real. The launch countdown echoing in her ears, the vibration beneath her paws, the moment of liftoff when everything she had ever known would fall away, and she would rise into the infinite. And just as the dream reached its peak, just as the stars seemed close enough to touch, reality came crashing back with the sudden, chaotic arrival of Bun Bun and Pippin, their playful energy bursting into her carefully constructed universe like an unexpected meteor shower. Bun Bun pounced without warning. Pippin skidded across the floor in pursuit, and in an instant, the launch bay was a living room again, the rocket a scratching post, the mission interrupted by the undeniable truth of shared space and sibling chaos. Minnie blinked, her tail flicking in mild annoyance as her grand vision dissolved. But as she watched them tumble and play, something shifted once more. Perhaps they weren't astronaut material. Perhaps they lacked the focus or the imagination. But maybe, just maybe, they could still be part of the journey, because even the greatest explorers didn't travel alone. And as Minnie climbed back onto her cat tree, gazing out at the darkening sky where the first stars began to twinkle like distant beacons calling her name, she realized that her dream wasn't gone at all. It was simply waiting, growing, evolving. And one day, whether Bun Bun and Pippin understood it or not, she would chase those stars. She would leap beyond the limits of her world. And when she returned, she would have stories no ordinary cat could ever tell. Stories of courage, of wonder, of the quiet, infinite beauty of space. And until that day came, she would train, she would imagine, and she would never stop believing that somewhere out there, among the stars, there was a place waiting just for her, Commander Minnie, the bravest little astronaut who ever dared to dream.